Hey friends, today I'm going to show you how to make my favorite homemade chili seasoning. You do not have to buy seasoning packets anymore. This tastes so much better and it's crazy easy to make. You can triple this recipe and store it in a jar, and we teach you how much to use. So any recipe you make that includes a seasoning, like a chili seasoning packet, we're going to tell you exactly how much of our homemade recipe to use. You can get the full recipe. I have it linked in the description, or you can go to eatingonadime.com and search chili seasoning. Okay, so that's how easy it is to do. It's simple, easy. Now this recipe will make enough for 12 pots of chili. So 12 times of using it, or like 12 seasoning packets, if that helps you think about it. So how to use it. You're going to use 2 tablespoons of your homemade seasoning per 1 pound of meat in a chili. So if your chili recipe calls for 2 pounds, start out with 2 tablespoons and then add to it to your seasoning. So I like my chili to be very flavorful, and so I would probably do 4 tablespoons, but you can go by your own personal taste buds, which is so great when you make your own seasonings because you have control over what is going into it, and then you can adjust your flavors as needed. Okay, so how to store it. You can store this in any airtight container, and I wanted to give you some ideas. So this is just a very small mason jar that you can use with the lid. However, a couple other tricks that we like to do. These are old mason jars, and these are seasoning lids. So if you get the large seasonings from like Sam's, Costco's, and even the bigger seasonings like at your local grocery store, they have these really cool lids. And it has the spoon part and where you can shake it out. And this is great to use as well. You can also use like a Parmesan, like a Kraft Parmesan lid as well, and they will hook on, like screw onto a mason jar, and you've had your own homemade seasoning. So hopefully that makes sense. As you can tell, I do this for my homemade taco seasoning. We have that on Eat on a Dime, and even our cinnamon sugar seasoning, we have that on Eat on a Dime as well. So I just wanted to drop that. But it's super simple, and I think you'll love it. Remember, you can get the full recipe linked below, or go to eatingonadime.com and search homemade chili. Today I'm going to show you how to make our keto or our low carb, no bean chili using our recipe. In a large stock pot, go ahead and add 2 pounds of ground beef. I'm using a lean ground beef. And then we're going to quickly brown it. I love using this meat separator because it gives you that perfectly ground up beef into the perfect crumbles instead of the large pieces that I'm not a big fan of. Once that's finished, now remember, you can use our homemade recipe, our homemade seasoning recipe for any chili recipe. Today I'm adding in some bell pepper and some onions that I've already chopped up into the stock pot, but you can add any veggies or anything that you like. Also, if you like beans in your chili, you can add that right now as well. Once that's finished, we want to make sure all the vegetables are sauteed so that they are soft. When they're soft, we're going to add our homemade chili seasoning. For this recipe, we're doing 4 tablespoons of homemade chili seasoning because we did the 2 pounds of ground beef. I've also added a teaspoon of garlic salt, and then now we are adding our tomatoes. We have 1 can of crushed tomatoes and 1 can of tomato sauce and a can of beef broth. I have all this information linked in the description below where you can get the full recipe. We're just going to stir this to combine and allow it to simmer. We're going to let it simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. It doesn't take very long until all the flavors combined because the meat is already cooked and the veggies are soft. And that's how easy it is to make chili when you have this delicious homemade chili seasoning. Now again, if you don't like vegetables or anything like that, you can eliminate that, but you can also go to eatingonadime.com and you can get a ton more fun chili recipes, including a hot dog chili, a crock pot chili, and a Tex-Mex chili. So head to eatingonadime.com so that way you can learn more. And that's how easy it is to make chili using our homemade seasoning. Remember, you can head to eatingonadime.com and search for homemade chili seasoning, or you can type in seasoning mixes and you can find all of our homemade seasonings that we have. They're all so simple to make, or you can just find the link to the recipe below in the description. I also will give you a link to the chili recipe that we made as well. It's super easy, and now it's time for the bite. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope I see you next time in my kitchen. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of our tips and tricks and family-friendly recipes. I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.